Hey, yo, what up, what up, what up? This is not a podcast. It's just my thoughts with Markman, man. Shout out to everybody that's been tuning in, especially this week, but all year long. This week is one of my most successful weeks, just traffic-wise and comments and engagement-wise. So appreciate y'all. Like, subscribe, comment. Appreciate that y'all really digging the channel and digging what I'm doing here. Again, this is all me. This just indie, man. I press record on the camera. I come sit. I do the sync clap. I record the audio and put it all together. So I appreciate y'all. Definitely going to get back to breaking down and talking about more Kendrick Lamar GNX tracks. Definitely want to do Man at the Garden. Definitely want to do Reincarnated. Definitely want to do Heart Part 6. So those are coming. We'll probably see those, early next week, man. They'll be coming out for sure. But, I've also been listening to this J. Cole, this audio series. He says it's not a podcast. They call it an audio series. And I respect them because I know how that feels when I say this is not a podcast. It's just my thoughts. And the same way I like for y'all to respect me. You know what I'm saying? I respect Cole. He says it's an audio series. So if you're a J. Cole fan, you definitely have to be listening to this. It's called The Inevitable. It's with him and his manager, Ibrahim, and Scott Laser. It's $10 for 10 episodes, so it does come at a price. Each episode has been at least about an hour and a half long, so they're pretty long and extensive. If you're a Cole fan, you definitely have to be listening and checking this out. If you're just like a rap fan and not into Cole, but just, you love hip hop, I still think it's dope and I still recommend it. If you're an aspiring artist, there are a ton of jewels in here. The whole thing is them talking about the come up, the journey, the steps that they took for Cole to get where he was at, and the different positions that everybody played, and the relationships that were formed. The first episode is called The Come Up. Then the second episode is Lights Please. They talk about J. Cole just growing up in Fayetteville, starting to rap, coming to NYC to go to St. John's, dropping his first mixtape, signing to Jay-Z. Then they walk us through, the warm-up, which was the second tape, and then they walk us through Friday Night Lights. And they've been releasing those projects on DSPs for the first time. The season will end on December 12th with a 2-part episode about the making of Forest Hills Drive. And then on December 16th, Cole is doing a special Forest Hills Drive one night only concert at MSG. I'm going to try to go to that. I'm supposed to be in LA. I'm going to try to figure it out. But so it all kind of feels very intentional. You know what I'm saying? And I wonder, I don't know for sure, but I wonder if we're going to get a new Cole project at the end of this. Maybe the off season, maybe, It's a Boy was another project that he hinted towards a while back when he made that list of projects, and then, talking about retirement. I don't know. I really have no idea. It's just a wonder. I wonder if we get a new Cole project at the end of this. So right now, anyway, we're on episode 6. All right. And he's talking about the Sideline Story. That's the major label debut album. And there's a crazy story I wanted to focus on. I'm just going to set it up for you. I'm not going to play the audio. I mean, this is behind a paywall. I'm not going to rip their thing and put it on my thing. Like, I just think that's disrespectful. I wouldn't like if somebody did that to me. So we're going to respect it. But, and plus, there may be like legal implications, or I may get demonetized for that. Who knows? And they will be well in their right. But, I'm going to talk about it a little bit for those of y'all who haven't listened or who aren't listening. But basically, where we are in this story, Cole dropped the warm-up mixtape and he dropped Friday Night Lights, but not his debut album. He had got signed before the warm-up mixtape came out, and still the debut album wasn't ready, so he dropped Friday Night Lights just to keep the buzz going. And Friday Night Lights, a classic, just like really took Cole to another level, but still not to the point where the label is like, all right, we can release an album. So he's on Rock Nation, and so the label, and specifically the label head, Jay-Z, is pressuring him to make a hit record. Like, you need a hit record, you need a first single so that they can start the rollout of the album. But at this point, Cole Can't Get Enough with Trey Songz, which was a single off the album, but it wasn't the first single. But to Jay, it feels like a single, but probably not the one, right? And probably not the lead-off single. So the other picture to paint is the pressure that Cole feels amongst his peers. Wiz Khalifa caught a hit with Black and Yellow, and Rolling Papers is coming out. Big Sean caught a hit with My Last, and Finally Famous hit. And even though Interscope fumbled the rollout with Wale's debut, Wale dropped his debut and was able to get his first album out, and Wale is getting his career started. And then there's Drake, who is just like killing shit across the board. Cole admits that he felt the competition with Drake even back then, which is interesting, but I think we all kind of knew this, especially if you were around them. But Cole admits that he felt the competition with Drake, even though they were friends. So this is around 2010, 2011. Cole talks about it in terms of commercial success. Drake was killing it. He was in a league of his own. That's not where the competition was. In terms of the cultural conversation, there was a bit of a competition in terms of who will be the future of hip hop. It was definitely a debate among like fans who are on the blogs or just people in the know. I don't know that mainstream knew about Cole as much, but amongst heads, those, if you know, those guys, the journalists of the world, just the deep hip hop fans on the blogs, maybe in some of the barbershops, there was this debate about who was the future of hip hop, Drake or this guy that Jay-Z just signed named J. Cole. Anyway, Cole knows he isn't going to be able to put this album out until he gets a hit, and Jay is definitely pressuring him. He talks a lot about his relationship with Jay-Z and even his frustration with Jay at the time and with the pressure that Jay was putting on him. And they're throwing Cole in with producers that don't even make sense, like pop producers, and just to try to manufacture this hit. And then, there's a scene where Jay even tells Cole that he doesn't think he can find a hit on his own, and asks Cole, like, why is he so hell-bent on producing his own stuff? Like, you need help. Why do you want to do this all yourself? So it's a real contentious time. It's a tough time for Cole. And all of this, you also have to understand that this whole podcast, all of these words are in Cole's recollection and Ebe's recollection. Maybe Jay has a different perspective. Right now, we're just going off of what Cole is telling us and his recollection and how he felt. All right, so boom. As the story goes, Cole and Ebe were in LA during All-Star Weekend working on music, and they attend Jay and LeBron's Two Kings dinner that they used to do every year for All-Star Weekend. And everyone is in there. It's pretty star-studded. So Cole and Ebe are there, and they're talking with Drake and Drake's manager, Future the Prince. I'm just going to, I had transcribed some of what Ebe said, so I'll read it out because Ebe really sets the story up, because within this audio series, Cole forgot, and so Ebe brought it up. But here's what Ebe says. Ebe says, at this point now, we're really close with Drake. Future's one of my closest homies that I done met through the game. Nico, Chubbs, all of those guys. So they pull up and we're having a conversation. Me, Cole, Drake, Future. I don't know who else was there. A couple of more people. So then Jay walks in and he sees us all together and he goes, yo. And he looks at Drake and he says, yo, give the boy one, and points at Cole. Basically, give him a hit. I even remember Future's face, like, that's embarrassing. All right. So this is Ebe's recollection of Jay, of them just chilling in the party, them talking, because, while there is a competition, they're friends at the heart of it all. But, Cole ain't come here to be second. He wants to be the man. He wants to be the guy. Drake has all the hits. Drake has all the light on him. So Drake currently has it, but Cole is willing to compete. I know all of the jokes that y'all going to put in the comments. Again, we're talking about 2010, 2011. So this is Ebe's recollection, and then Jay walks in, and because Drake was a hit machine, like he was on everybody's joint. It wasn't just the album, wasn't just So Far Gone. That feature run that Drake was on, 2009, 2010. You know what I'm saying? Like they were like Money to Blow, Say Something with Timbaland, Fab, Throw It in the Bag remix. I don't have the list in front of me, but I mean, he was on fire, man. Like he was on absolute fire. And so Jay walks in and says, yo, get a boy one. And throw him a hit. Like the same hits you getting for everybody else. Yo, get one for my guy. And also they had In the Morning already. In the Morning just wasn't a hit record. In the Morning was a dope record, but In the Morning wasn't necessarily a hit. Definitely wasn't pushed to radio or anything like that. So Cole is embarrassed, sounds like maybe Future the Prince and Drake are embarrassed for him. Ebe is embarrassed. And then Cole jumps in and this is his recollection. He says, again, he's just saying, mind you, there's a legit competition. Commercially, it's not, but culturally, it's still a competitive sport. Eve says, I felt embarrassed for Cole and I felt embarrassed for Drake and Future because they were like, they got to be like, what the fuck? That's a crazy story. I never heard that story before. This podcast series is dope. And maybe this foreshadows and explains kind of where we are now with the big three. It's interesting that Cole figured the hit out, as the story goes. Workout, even though Let Nas Down, Workout was a hit. Workout was a hit for Cole and set Cole up to do what he wants to do. I don't think Cole necessarily followed formulas after that record. So, but he tells a whole story from there. He tells how he got Workout and how that came about. And, again, as a Cole fan, if you're a Cole fan, you should definitely be listening to this. If you're a hip hop fan, I recommend it. If you're an aspiring artist, definitely recommend it because there's some jewels in here. There's probably some stuff you could relate to. But that's it for now. I wasn't going to long talk y'all with this one. But that was an interesting story. So I was like, man, I got to share this. And, like, subscribe, comment, hit me in the comments. Let's talk about it, all right? Until the next one. Peace.